Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, and judges. Today, please allow us to present this intriguing topic, learning in 21st century. Now, before we start, I would like to address our gratitude for standing here. It is to us such a delight to have the honor of presenting a national senior university. Thank you.
Do you ever feel reluctant when being asked to speak up your personal ideas about important cases? Or have you always have a good relationship with others? The reason for me to ask these questions is because in this century, the ever-changing and fast-paced era, collaboration, critical thinking, communication, and creativity are the skills that are essential for our work, study, social lives, and basically everything. Therefore, in order to be a good candidate in this era, we must enhance our soft skills.
Yes. So, speaking of the soft skills, let's look at the education between Taiwan and the United States. So, for the course materials, let us start from the high school system. If we see from the high school system, we will see there's a significant difference between both countries. So, for course materials in Taiwan, they are mostly based on the content that will be tested on the college entrance exams. And whereas in the United States, that are very less based on the college entrance exam, such as the SAT, they only tested on reading, math, and writing. So without a limitation of the test content, many creative learning methods are invented in the States. And one of the most famous one is the game-based learning that we will now be introducing. So the question is, what is game-based learning?
Game-based learning is a concept first originated in the US. In recent 10 years, it started to be advocated by educators in Taiwan. The main pursuit of it is to motivate students to learn and think. Unlike using textbooks in class, game-based learning provides students the chance to practice their soft skills and also are more likely to attract them. So, let's take a typical game-based learning example. InClass Debate.
So, thank you. InClass Debate is an activity that can require students to discuss a certain topic profoundly from different aspects. The topic could be of any kind, such as global news, environmental problems, or social studies issues. The teacher would ask students to group with others who hold the same ideas, and then to the students, their goal is to persuade other students in different groups. In order to prepare for the debate, students must search, analyze, and organize the information with the help of digital devices. And so, not like doing this work by themselves, especially when they are working in team, they could practice their communicating and collaborating skills. So, after the preparation, each of the groups will present their aspects and listen to other groups' opinion. Well, as a presenter who aims to persuade others, the students must organize information and then present it persuasively and logically. And as a listener, students could see things from different aspects and cultivate the ability of critical thinking.
Let's summarize what we can learn from this game. Aside from knowing the topic more deeply, we could also learn the soft skills such as critical thinking, communicating, analyzing, organizing, and even digital literacy.
Right. Several researchers even shows that game-based learning has significant effectiveness in students' learning performances and learning attitudes. Students consider the game to can provide them more objective way of thinking, which make them feel more engaged in class.
As in Taiwan, most local students receive task-oriented education. For strengths, this kind of education has been proposed to cultivate students' hard-working spirits. Moreover, it can enhance the fair and square idea.
Yes, but however, the system in Taiwan has some weaknesses that sometimes poses a troubling situation for the students, including enormous pressure from the exams and reluctance in group work, which results from that game practicing class, and much more. This might be most people's impression of the test, but actually, if there has an adequate amount of test pressure, it actually can help students set their short-term goal that enhance their motivation to study. And then it can also provide them an objective evaluation to their learning situation. Today, now in Taiwan, more and more teachers are using this game-based learning.
Yes, absolutely. Like the game that we just mentioned, InClass Debate, or the game that we had experienced in class before. From our observation, we found that having students learn in games while giving them proper amount of tests would enhance their learning quality.
Thank you. So, if incorporate between US and Taiwan, they incorporate to learn from each other, it would be really rewarding for students on both sides. Well, tests give us motivation for reaching our goals, while game entertains us and gives us soft skills training.
Learning is without border. With the cooperation of Taiwan and the US, more and more modern teaching ways will be created, such as the emergence of game-based learning in Taiwan. If the country can learn from each other, it is in no doubt that students in both countries would progress more. In conclusion, the most important thing for us, the millennials, is to enhance our soft skills and always engage in learning. So, if next time you see your baby brother goes,
No, sister, I want to still play this Angry Bird game. Well, phew! You can see, well, this is like the projectile motion of physics with Newtonian laws and gravitational forces. Just so amazing. I'm not giving you back my phone.
so you should be glad because it means that the 21st century education, game-based learning, is finally implemented in our life. All the children now love learning. Thank you.
I'm curious about the in-class debate. How can it be game-based? Can you give us more examples?
Other thing than the game-based learning? Or just
Game-based learning in relation to in-class debate.
So, well, starts from the in-class debate. So typically, in traditionally way, teacher would just like teach students materials and course contents, right? But through the in-class debate, students basically they need to gather information by themselves. Maybe it's through books or through digital devices. Those kind of things would like make students more engaged in learning. And I guess the game-based learning, their goal is to let the student engage in learning. And well, if you want more example, is there's like an app called Kahoot. Some teacher will use that in class, and they also have some implemented some game. Do you have any?
Like many of my teachers have given us some video games that related to their subjects. Like take history for example. I have played a history video game that helped me learn about history figure through role play games, and it is very efficient for my study efficiency.
So if there were any sort of classes where having a debate in class would not really fit the subject as much, for example, in a math class, what would be some game ideas you might be able to think of for this sort of environment?
In a math class, for example. So in math class, I think it's kind of like, so maybe both sides could, let's take calculus, for example. So calculus there has like two, let's see. So people can the teacher could give students a question that is very hard to solve, and then to let students split up in groups. Then their work is to maybe go online, use like a debate kind of form. They have to search, gather information by themselves, and then after gather a lot of information, they can maybe come up with a solution. Maybe not exact the solution, but actually they can give the teacher their way of thinking that to really enhance students to be more engaged in class. And through our several references here, we have seen that the game-based learning has like a significant effect in improving students' learning performance and attitudes.
Let me add something, like what he just mentioned about math class game. Although the student might not give direct answer and they solve the question, but through their searching by themselves or their debate, they can learn other kinds of math. Like they found other methods. Although it's not related to the question, but they still learn other things that is related to math.
My question is, regardless of whether you're doing a traditional or game-based approach in teaching, do you think that, and again, I don't want to generalize, do you think that most Taiwanese students have really bad habits when it comes to classroom participation, classroom engagement, or for that matter, just being students?
Yes.
You go first.
Okay. So it's very common phenomenon to see a teacher ask students question and no one raise their hand, right? Because most of the Taiwanese students we've been receiving this type of education through our whole life. If we haven't received any of the international education, so this might be some type of what we call I guess it's this is like foreign culture, like InClass Debate and those sort of non-traditional way of learning. So it must have some type of buffering time for us, for the students here. But I believe that the students are now being more engaged in class when it comes to this type of participation in class.
From my personal experience, a student often be not engaged in class when teacher asks them to answer the questions. But when we do it together in group, or teacher calls students to cooperate with each other, then the students would have more motivation to speak up and answer the teacher's questions and think of what the class is teaching. Thank you.